This is everything you need to know about Vanquish Soul, a deck that's built off of making combos like how you would make combos on games like Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter, and being able to easily win the game if you know what you're doing. If I had to classify Vanquish Soul as a particular deck, it's similar to strategies like Infernal Knight or Dragon Link. It's a deck that requires a huge brain, and its inboard is never really the same. It's always some different iterations depending on the situation. So if you like decks that are highly adaptable with their cards that you can play inside of the deck, but also pretty formulaic with the situation that it can out itself with, then Vanquish Soul might be for you. Now, a quick dive into Vanquish Soul. This is a deck that is built on being able to reveal attributes in your hand, fire, earth, and dark, to be able to gain the effects of your Vanquish Soul monsters. The big Vanquish Soul monsters can also typically return a Vanquish Soul monster to your hand to special summon themselves to the side of the field. Let's start off by going over the little Vanquish Soul monsters and their importance. Vanquish Soul Raisin is the best card in the deck. It allows you to be able to add a Vanquish Soul monster from your deck to your hand, and then you can reveal a fire to protect it from being destroyed by card effects, or a fire and a dark to destroy all monsters in the same column. This card is actually really good. Since Vanquish Soul is so important, keep in mind it is a fire warrior monster and can be searched with cards like Infernal Arms Durandal, or your Battling Boxer Dempsey when that card comes out, and of course Reinforcement of the Army. Like I said before, this is the bread and butter of the deck, and the most important card. Getting into this card is going to be your #1 priority. After that is Vanquish Soul Mad Love. This card, when normal summon or special summon, gets you a Vanquish Soul spell or trap card from your deck to your hand. There are some really good cards that you can use to be able to disrupt your opponent or to continue on with your combo. Mad Love also has some stronger effects. It allows you to target a face-up monster and make it lose 500 attack and defense by revealing a dark monster, or if you reveal a dark and earth, you can return one monster on the field with the lowest defense to the hand. Vanquish Soul Raisin is typically played as a 3-of inside of the Vanquish Soul deck. Mad Love is a little bit different. You can play 2 or 3 copies of it. It depends on how many Vanquish Soul spell cards that you think you're going to be searching and how many dark targets you have. The last easy to summon Vanquish Soul monster is Vanquish Soul Panthera. That's Bay. Vanquish Soul Panthera allows you to special summon herself by having no monsters in the main monster zone, and then by revealing an earth monster, it can't be destroyed by battle. So that actually does come up, seeing that these Vanquish Soul monsters are quick effects. Preventing it from being destroyed by battle can save you. It allows you to be able to reveal an earth and fire monster, destroy all spells and trap cards in the same column. Keep in mind the destructions effect of both Raisin and Panthera are all cards in the same column. You may destroy your own monsters or your own spell and trap cards if you use it incorrectly. Showing her camel toe is crazy, Konami. Come on, man. Focus, chat. Focus. Focus. Now that's it for your little Vanquish Soul monsters. I know I said there was a difference between big and little Vanquish Soul monsters, but I kind of lied. There's actually medium Vanquish Soul monsters. These monsters summon themselves, but through other conditions. Vanquish Soul Zhylong is a card that we just got in the TCG, and it's crazy that you guys are getting it in Master Duel so soon. This is actually what makes Vanquish Soul an incredibly powerful deck, because anytime you reveal with a Vanquish Soul monster, you can special summon this card to your hand, and if you reveal 1 fire monster, you can change the position of a monster on the field. If you reveal 2 fire monsters, you can search any Vanquish Soul card from your deck to the hand. Zhylong puts a unique emphasis on you playing more fire monsters in the deck. No worries, there's actually some really good fire cards alongside of multiple copies of Zhylong and Raisin that you can be playing to make that department completely covered. Vanquish Soul Pluton allows you to be able to special summon itself if you control no monsters or only Vanquish Soul monsters, and then when you reveal 1 fire monster, it gains 3000 defense. If you reveal a Dark and Earth, it gains 3000 attack. Now, Vanquish Soul Pluton is a mandatory Yu-Gi-Oh card. You have to play at least one if Zhylong does not exist, because Raisin cannot search itself. The other 2 Vanquish Soul monsters are the Big Daddy Vanquish Soul cards. These are some of your most powerful cards. Vanquish Soul Heavy Borger is actually the way that this deck ends games fast or gets advantage. Keep in mind, the big Vanquish Soul monsters can activate their effects to return a Vanquish Soul monster on the field as a quick effect, meaning that you can dodge cards like Infinite Impermanence, Effect Veiler, and Book of Moon fairly easily. What Heavy Borger does is if you reveal 1 dark monster, you can draw a card, and this is during either player's turn. If you reveal a dark and an earth monster, you can inflict 1500 damage to your opponent. Vanquish Soul Heavy Borger alone can do 5,500 damage by attacking and activating its effect on both turns. All you have to do is do the rest of the damage and you have game. And lastly, out of the monsters is Vanquish Soul Caesar Valius. This is your strongest Vanquish Soul monster, and it has the exact same effects as Heavy Borger, being able to bounce to summon. If you reveal one Earth monster, it's unaffected by your opponent's activated effects until the end of the turn. But if you reveal an Earth, Fire, and Dark, you can destroy one card on the field, and that's crazy. As you can see, Vanquish Soul actually gives you a decent amount of Earth, Fire, and Dark monsters to be able to mix and mash, but some other fire monsters that you should consider inside of your deck are Kirakera the Divine Incarnate, really good for not only clearing boards, but just so happens to be a fire monster. Of course, Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring comes to mind because it is one of the most played cards in Master Duel. Ghost Bell and Haunted Mansion allows you to prevent your opponent from special summoning from the graveyard and is an Earth target, and so is Kashtira Finra, which just so happens to be an Earth target, but also can search you Kashtira Riseheart, which is a fire monster that could summon itself if you want to exceed summon into 7s or 4s. DD Crow is also a pretty decent Yu-Gi-Oh card as a dark target and a hand trap, but don't forget about monsters like Dimension Shifter and Fantastical Dragon Phantasme. Those are also pretty powerful dark cards too. Maxi is also an Earth target. Ah, yes. How can my simple brain forget? Maxi is in Master Duel, and it's a better Earth target than Ghost Spell. Stake Your Soul is one of the most powerful cards in the deck. Unfortunately, it doesn't say Vanquish Soul in its name. You're going to reveal any monster like Ash Blossom or Kirakera from your hand to be able to special summon monsters like Raisin or Jaylong, and anything else goes for between as long as you're revealing the correct attribute. This card's really good. Vanquish Soul Continue allows you to special summon or add a Vanquish Soul monster from your graveyard to your hand or field respectively. It's a really powerful card when you want to make an Exceed summon, or if your opponent gets rid of your cards and you need to extend your plays. Vanquish Soul Dust Devil is actually incredible against Kashtira because it does allow you to flip your opponent's monsters to face down defense position. And then for the trap cards, I'm not gonna lie, for the most part they're ass. Vanquish Soul Trinity Burst. Target one Vanquish Soul monster you control, special summon 2 Vanquish Soul monsters from your hand with different names from each other, neither which has the same original attribute. Bro, it ain't happening. The odds of using this card is just incredibly low. It's not a terrible Yu-Gi-Oh card, but it's just way too much to do. Vanquish Soul Calamity Kaiser prevents targeting and inflicts burn damage. Still not a card that you necessarily may want to play. And then the new card in Vanquish Soul Dust Devil is actually really good. It allows you to special summon Vanquish Soul monsters to your side of the field, inflict burn damage, protect your Vanquish Souls, and destroy all cards on the field that aren't Vanquish Soul. Now for the extra deck cards that you could be playing inside of Vanquish Soul. The deck has a lot of options that you can use, but keep in mind cards like Pot of Prosperity and Pot of Extravagance are limited, so getting into the cards that you need may be a little harder. There's Rock of the Vanquisher. This card is mandatory for Vanquish Soul monsters because it is a Vanquish Soul card. It not only allows you to add Vanquish Soul monsters from your graveyard to the hand, it can also special summon Vanquish Soul monsters from your hand to the field. It's a really important card for being able to recur resources, but also being able to special summon monsters like Vanquish Soul Razin into the particular zone that you want to use its effect to destroy monsters. Divine Arsenal AA Zeus is really easy to make with this deck. All you have to do is make a Zodiac Chakanine into a Borbo, and ta-da! Divine Arsenal AA Zeus is incredible. And keep in mind, this deck can actually make rank 4s really easy, so monsters like Baguska, Tornado Dragon, Exciton Knight, all easily summonable monsters. There's then Kashtira Riseheart. Ironically, if you're playing against Kashtira, not only can you play monsters like Big Eye to take your opponent's monsters like Shangri-Ira, you can also play Kashtira Riseheart and slap it on top of your monster to make sure that they never give it back. This deck is not graveyard reliant, so if your opponent ever does something like that, you have a couple of options to play with. Battling Boxer Dempsey I don't think is coming out in Master Duel anytime soon, but when it does, watch out for this card as it can search Fire Warrior monsters. And that's it for pretty much the skeleton or the basis of Vanquish Soul. Now let's talk about the counters. Vanquish Soul actually has a interesting counter. Ironically, Divine Incarnate Kirakera is very good against this deck as well as it is to playing, but anytime you can affect all monsters without targeting them, you're doing really good. That means cards like Book of Eclipse, Raigeki, and Dark Hole are actually amazing against this deck, because even if you were to use the effect of a Vanquish Soul monster to tag out, those monsters would get destroyed too. There's also cards like Triple Tactics Talent, which can non-target but take a Vanquish Soul monster, preventing them from doing their combos. Those are really powerful and effective for beating Vanquish Soul.